What's going on, guys? My name is Doug. Welcome to the video. I'm very happy to see you guys here today. Before we get into it, yesterday I dropped a new beat. I'm gonna put a little 10-second snippet right here. If you like what you just heard and you want to check out the full beat, you can click the link in the top right hand corner. I'd really appreciate it if you would go there, show some love to the beat and things like that. So today we're here to listen to my favorite tracks off of Lil Wayne's new album, Funeral. Now the reason I'm doing it this way, this video this way, instead of listening to the entire thing is because this will make for a better video. I will be much more energetic in a video where I listen to my favorite tracks off of the project instead of doing a video where I have to sit through a 2-hour recording session and listening to 24 tracks. This will end up making the content more enjoyable and more entertaining for you guys. So if you're here for general thoughts on the project as a whole, you can kind of skip forward to the end. That's where I'll be doing that. And if you're here to listen to some Lil Wayne music with me, then I'm not going to waste too much of your time and we're going to be jumping right into it. You guys are already aware of the various different ways that you can support the channel, so I'm just going to leave that up to you and I'm going to do my thing. The first track that we're going to be listening to today is Funeral, the intro. And yeah, let's just get into it.
The choir singing musicals.
I really like the production on this. It's very cinematic. Yo, look at those strings. This is beautiful, man.
Welcome to the funeral, where we from, we roll. Snatching as usual. Amen, hallelujah, though. Whole family delusional.
I love how the energy builds. Like I said, the energy. Yeah, man, I just think that in terms of the production, it's extremely cinematic. It definitely fits the idea of this being an introduction to a body of work. This kind of opens up the project in a very nice way. It really builds from something soft into something very energetic and heavy and gritty. I really dig all the strings and the orchestral instruments in the background. I think that it was mixed very nicely. His voice really stands out from everything else. It's very clear. You can understand exactly what he's saying. I like that his energy grows along with the beat. It feels very cohesive. You know, I really enjoy that. I think that it's a really great opener, honestly. And actually, the opening to this project in itself was pretty strong because I think the first 4 tracks we're actually going to be listening to today because they really made it onto this list of my favorite songs. So the next track is Mahogany, which is, I know for a fact, a lot of people's favorite.
NASCAR transport, just what you asked for. Don't ask me what I asked for. If you feel too adjacent to who I'm racing, I'm spacing out on you faded.
Yo, this beat is crazy. Like an eagle, she spread it out. This rides, man. The bounce to this is just awesome. Man. I just think that the energy of this beat, the energy in his delivery, how witty some of his punchlines are, his flow, the bounce to the production, the actual sample of the woman singing, like all of that just really works together to create something really awesome. I think that it just, I don't know how somebody might listen to this and hate on it. You know, this might not be the style of music that they really enjoy listening to, but anybody that enjoys this style of music would really probably enjoy this track because there's nothing in terms of like execution that I can really fault it for, honestly. That's why it's one of my favorite tracks. It's just really dope. It's got a really fun bounce to it, and he's just a blast to listen to. The next track on my list is Mamma Mia.
What is good, brother?
Lighter flick, bro.
I
will say, when I first heard this little intro portion right here, where he just out the gate immediately with the lyrics and the really crazy kind of, I don't know whether they're synths or just like a sound effect or whatever they're called, but I was a little bit weirded out at first because it is a very strange sound and it's got a really nice like syncopated rhythm. And without the actual drums, since it comes right out of the gate, you're like trying to get a hold on what the beat is supposed to sound like. And then when eventually the beat actually drops and we get that really nice distorted 808, it just really meshes very nicely with these crazy sounding synths. So I just wanted to say that, like, at first I was so confused by this, and it's so satisfying when the beat drops and everything just makes sense. It's really nice. Don't push me like a red button, bro. That's so nice. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. I love the Tupac reference, but then I ain't a killer, but don't push me like a red button. I just think that that's like his punchlines are just so clever and goofy at the same time. Some of them are hard and some of them are really funny, and so that's just something that I gotta just praise him for, because he's really kind of known as like the king of punchlines, you know, funny punchlines.
Wizard with the motherfucker like I went to Hogwarts, cut the hog head and the tail off. I'm the next bitch put the slime out.
Don't touch me like an airball.
Like a dog nigga, kind. I'm on my shit like Memphis, and then they grow and they and I'm goofing, I'm tying my nooses, lighting my fluids.
Look at the flow, bro.
I'm high like a fool and my wife looking Jewish.
So, I think that the production, first of all, like I praised it at the beginning. I love that drop when everything kind of makes sense. It's got a very crazy syncopated little like melody. Love the heavy 808, very gritty drums. I think the production is absolutely fire. I think that his performance is very great because it starts off very energetic. He comes right out of the gate with the lyrics. It's just punchline after punchline after punchline for the entire 3 minutes and 45 seconds. It gets to a point where it almost sounds like his performance, he's out of breath because he's just been going for so long. And it doesn't stop, really. It's just a slew of just punchlines and wordplay and like a barrage of lyricism, really, that I personally found very impressive. I will say that in terms of sounding good to your ears, it does get to a point where later on in the track his voice is like I said, he kind of sounds out of breath, and it really sounds like he's straining to even get his words out, so it doesn't sound great, but the energy is there, the lyricism is there, the beat is great. So really the only thing that I could say is maybe doing the verse in multiple takes to have a very consistent sound to your vocals would maybe make this sound better. But in terms of his actual rhyme schemes, the flow, I mean, it's very, very impressive that he's been able to do this for so long. So I really like this track. The next track we're going to be listening to is I Do It, featuring Big Sean and Lil Baby. This little flute is so simple, but it's very catchy.
You weigh me down and I gotta remove. Bitch, I do it.
Yeah.
They say all facts, but don't prove shit.
I love this flow. Right here.
So choosy, money spread on me like boozy. Real ones ride for me.
I had no gun, I got two on my never remind a nigga what I do for him. I was dead, bro. Sleep on.
You know, I don't know what Lil Baby did. I don't know what kind of spell that he put on me. I don't know what kind of black magic he might have performed to get me to start enjoying his music, but before I just wasn't into it. Wasn't into his sound, wasn't really into his delivery, his performance. Not on this track specifically, in general. I wasn't a Lil Baby fan. At some point, listening to some of his features, he just started working for me, you know? He just started actually sounding good. And I don't think that it was anything different that he was doing. I think that it was just my personal music taste evolving, I guess, and getting accustomed to his style. But it really grew on me, like a lot. And so definitely can't wait to go back and get into some of those Gunna and Lil Baby projects that I promised you guys I would listen to as soon as I have some free time. But yeah, off the bat, loving Big Sean's hook, loving the flow that he uses. It rides very nicely, and having Lil Baby just come right out the gate like that with his first verse, I thought was crazy fire. Love the very simple production, easy to listen to, very simple, but it works. Definitely works. I love it. I love Lil Wayne harmonizing here.
You in my wings like a translucent. I smoked up best exclusive. I'm somewhere else secluded.
This is crazy. Yo, that is a very strong track, dude. I love the hook, like I said. Loving the Lil Baby feature, the Big Sean feature really fit. I think that Lil Wayne did his thing during his verse. And like I said, this project has a very strong opening. The first 4 tracks made it onto my list of my favorite songs. And it got to a point where I was listening to this, and I remember people saying that it was very mediocre and that they were disappointed in it because, again, I put off listening to this for a few days to kind of get a feel of what the internet was saying about it, and everyone was saying that it's mid, that it's not as good as they were expecting. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, we're 4 tracks in, everything has been fire, everything has been working so far. At what point am I going to be disappointed? Then we got to track 5 and it just really wasn't doing it for me. And the subsequent tracks actually didn't really do it for me until we got to Trust Nobody, honestly, featuring Adam Levine. So tracks 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 kind of were, like, they're not bad, but they really weren't as good as the first 4 in my opinion. So the next track that is on my list of favorite tracks is track 10, Trust Nobody. We're going to be listening to that now. And by the way, if your favorite tracks don't make it into this list, let me know what they are in the comment section, and we can agree to disagree on some of these songs, but yeah, I want to hear your opinions as well.
I don't trust nobody, not my lovers, not my friends.
Yo.
I've been looking at the cross and it just look like a T. 2 fingers, I keep them crossed, I can't be looking for peace.
Wow. Yo. You know, one of the reasons I really like this song is because of how honest it is and how introspective it is. I think that Adam Levine's performance on the hook is great. I think that this hook is perfect for this track. You know, the hook is just really easy to listen to. It's very pleasant. And Lil Wayne's lyricism, you know, he talks about how alone he feels. He talks about, I've been looking for love, but it isn't for me. I've been looking at the cross and it just looks like a T, which kind of is like him saying he's looking for God and he really doesn't feel like he can't find him. He also says, what is it? 2 fingers, I keep them crossed. I ain't looking for peace. So like 2 fingers, peace sign, but he keeps them crossed because he can't look for peace, but at the same time crossed because he's been looking at the cross and he only sees a T. Things like that. Just that rhyme scheme, but at the same time, the imagery, the symbolism, and what the lyrics actually mean behind the surface, you know, underneath the surface. Just all of that is not just impressive, because it does take a lot of talent and skill to actually write like that, but I really enjoy the honesty. I really enjoy how sincere he's being here, you know?
I ain't never looking back because the light always green. Safe to say I lost my way, but I never speed.
Man.
Wake up, lost some sleep, but I never lost a dream. If you were there,
This song is great. Yeah, no one can really convince me that that song is mediocre or anything like that. I enjoy the hook personally. I enjoy Adam Levine and the feature. And like I said, the lyricism on this is just so honest, so sincere. Lil Wayne saying that he never looked back because the light is always green. He lost nights of sleep, but he never lost his dream. Just kind of portraying that even though he was hurting inside, he would just put himself, his focus, his dedication into his work and just keep moving forward. He never lost his drive. He never lost that hunger. He kept grinding no matter how badly he was feeling. And really just depicting that pain really, really incredibly on this track, in my opinion. So yeah, that had to go onto my list of my favorite songs for this project. And then the very next track, Know You Know, featuring 2 Chainz, actually made it into my list. So yeah, let's get that. Yo, this little trap piano is so nice, man.
Anytime forward and I'm black enough. And I'm backing, I'm backing up. Either protect or attacking us.
Yo.
But I'm not a janitor. I'm a
2 Chainz is such a cheat code feature, man. Oh my god.
crazy. I don't
You on
wanna
the side
change.
like a baked
You car,
potato?
I can't paint you. That's a bar, that's an indicator.
Says she's sick and tired of being sick and tired like Mr. Coke. I got catching me to the roof, the boy, you sitting low. She been catching feelings.
Yeah, I think personally that track really made it onto my list because of that 2 Chainz feature and the beat mostly. Lil Wayne did his thing. He didn't really say anything too crazy in my opinion. He didn't really impress me too much. But that 2 Chainz feature is ridiculous, man. And the beat is absolutely phenomenal. So, really quick track, very easy to listen to, very fun to listen to. Wild Dogs is the next song we're going to listen to. Yo, that Siri Alexa bar, isn't it? Yeah, honestly, the reason this made it onto my list is because of the production. I really like that Pierre Bourne kind of style to the beat. I don't know who produced it, but I really like the synths, the 808 and the drums are knocking, you know, and I just really like the vibe of the production itself. Very easy to kind of ignore the lyrics and let them go running on in the background. Again, Lil Wayne doesn't really say anything too crazy or too impressive on this song, so his performance and the lyrics aren't really what I come here for. I just really like that production. I really like the vibe. So normally I let this one play in the background a little bit, but it's still good enough to make it onto my list. Harden is next. Yo, this beat is crazy.
Give it a reason. She don't want a reason. She don't want to see me. She don't believe me. I talked to the repeat, put me on speaker.
Oh, man.
He told me to keep you. And I know I've been swerving, I know you've been nervous, I know I've been reckless, and now you're all heartless, and now it's all worthless. I don't deserve it, and you looking past me. I'm just a hazard.
That little gospel sample, man.
What you're doing, you looking your smile. Now we just cured them. That got me furious. People that knew us tell me they saw. She don't want to read me, she don't want to see me, she don't believe me. I tell her it's cold, I'm already freezing.
Yeah, here I've got to give it up to his lyricism, his performance. This beat is phenomenal in my opinion. I love that gospel sample. The drums hit so hard, and he really did his thing on this track. Particularly that line really gets me where he says, I wonder how beautiful you'll look at your wedding while I'm at my funeral. That one really just kind of hits me in the gut every time I hear it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this song. And he's putting together a string of really nice tracks. We had track 10, 11, 12, 13, and now 14 is next on my list. I Don't Sleep featuring Takeoff. Another little Pierre Bourne type beat, honestly. Love the little flute.
Fuck a sheet, fuck a Zanny, give me Adderall and weed. Speed ballin', I thought it B.I.G. said it was all a dream.
Hey.
I'm rapping MLB to my don't you never blink. And if you sleeping on the tension, rest in peace.
Honestly, his flow here kind of has like a Drake kind of feel to it. Especially the way that he's putting the emphasis on certain words in order to really make his flow a little tighter. Definitely got kind of like a Drake vibe to it.
From Italy, text message from my Memphis, bitch. She get a
I lied ad-lib is kind of corny.
minutes. Snoop without the weed, AI without the sling, IG without the means. Nah, I'm up.
So the main takeaway here from this track is that Takeoff uses Instagram to look at memes. I think we can kind of agree that Instagram memes are always like 3 months late. But yeah, just a really pleasant little vibe from the track, from the production. Love that really like nice little flute. I think that the hi-hats have a really cool bounce to them, the 808. You know, Takeoff and Lil Wayne did their thing. But this is just kind of like a fun track, really, just to put on at a party or in the background and just kind of vibe to. It's really nice. We've got 2 more tracks we're going to be listening to today. The first one is Piano Trap. I love those horns, man.
I'm about to zip on this until I drown. Oh my god, I'm getting thirsty now. I'm on the way too hard on this clown. And she about to truck on the ground. Oh my god, she getting personal now. Oh my god, I'm about to skirt on the crowd. Oh my
Yo,
god,
his flow is so catchy. Yo, this beat switch up was so dope. Cloud9 and you on iCloud? Yeah, man, I was really enjoying the first half of this song. His melodies that he was singing were really catchy. I loved the horns and the production. The flow was really nice. The track was fire, but the beat switch up really just confirmed it and like really set it in stone that this was going to be on my list of my favorite tracks. This song is just ridiculous. I really like it. The last track we're going to be listening to today off of Lil Wayne's Funeral is Nevermind.
I'm a pimp under pressure, but it's necessary. Treat a bad bitch better than yeah. I got a lot on my mind. I like one and watch time go by, go. Yeah.
I love the vibe of this song, man. It's just got like a really smooth guitar vibe to it, really nice summer vibe to it. It's just a really fun track to kind of let it play in the background while you do something or even to just relax to. Put it on while you're hanging out with your friends. It's got a really cool vibe to it. So that's the last track that I really thoroughly enjoyed that made it onto my list. Some general thoughts on this project as a whole. I mean, out of 24 tracks, and by the way, I heard that it was 24 tracks long as a tribute to Kobe. I'm not sure whether that's true or not. Because I do believe Kobe unfortunately passed away the week that this dropped. And so if that was the case, then he had maybe 4 or 5 days to come up with songs to make the track list 24 songs long. And if that's the case, that could explain why about half of this project feels a little rushed or mediocre. But if that's not the case, if it's just coincidentally 24 tracks, because if I'm not mistaken, Carter 5 was 23 tracks long. So if it's just coincidentally 24 tracks, he definitely could have made this way shorter, honestly. You know, out of the 24, I have 11 songs that made it onto my favorite songs list. So if he had made this like a 15-track long project, or even like just those 11 songs that I thoroughly enjoyed, this could have been really great from Lil Wayne, and the vast majority of the project would have been dope. But as it stands, I enjoy just shy of half of this project. So I do think that the 24-second pause and the 24 seconds of silence on the 8th track is a very nice tribute to Kobe Bryant. And I feel like if the 24 tracks are a tribute, it's kind of unnecessary. You know, he could have just left those 24 seconds of silence, and that really would have left a lot of throwaways off of the project. So like I said, I can't confirm whether it's 24 songs long because of Kobe. I personally believe it's probably just a coincidence. I don't think that Lil Wayne would just throw a bunch of throwaways on here just to get the track list to 24 songs long. I think that he did this intentionally, and it just coincidentally is the same number of Kobe Bryant's second jersey. So yeah, as a whole, this project is mediocre because just shy of half of it is very thoroughly enjoyable, and the other half is just kind of mid. It's kind of okay. There aren't any really bad songs except for that XXXTentacion song that is on here, track 18. That one's really just not it. But all the other ones are just kind of mediocre and okay and not really memorable. And so if you're going to have 24 songs on a project, have at least 15 to 17 of them be memorable. You know, you can forgive 7 bad songs on a 24 track project, but to have 13 songs that aren't memorable on a 24 track long project is just not really forgivable or reconcilable. So the point of making this video the way that I made it and only listening to the songs that I like is to keep it from being overly negative. But these are the general opinions that I have on this project. As a whole, it's kind of mediocre. But these 11 songs that I just showcased in this video are very enjoyable. I do very much like them. I have them in constant rotation on my playlist on Spotify. And I definitely think that you should check out these songs. If you enjoy some of the other songs, let me know in the comments section. I might give them a few more chances. They may grow on me. And if so, I will make a follow-up video and let you guys know. But for now, these are my thoughts on this project. I'm very happy that you guys decided to watch this video and stick through it with me. I know it's kind of a longer one. And I guess it's time for announcements. I posted earlier on in the video on screen about Putting Y'all On. Episode 8, I believe, is coming out on the 15th of this month. And so if you haven't gotten your submissions in by now, do so. Hit me up on my Instagram DMs. You have up to 2 tracks that you can submit, and I will listen to them, critique them for you. And if they're good enough, they will make it onto the video. There's no guarantees, unfortunately. I can't guarantee that you'll make it onto the video, but submitting your tracks is a very dope way to at least get me to listen to your music. So hit me up on Instagram. Support the channel any way that you see fit. And be sure to check out that beat that I showcased at the beginning of the video if you enjoyed it, what you heard. And I would really appreciate it if you showed some love on there. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching the video. I will see you guys in another video very, very soon. Until then, guys, stay safe as always. Peace out.